What's up, good people? Happy Sunday to you all. It's your boy, Vance Vladi, aka Bird's Eye View, better known as Melanin as Woke. Just checking in with you people. It's a lot of chaotic things going on, chaotic times. So I'm sitting back reflecting, just kind of thinking about what's going on with Russia, what's going on with Ukraine, and just that whole conflict. And then more so, the spillover, and just how it's a direct conflict between those two nations, if you will, but really it's a global conflict, because as we look at it, the fallout it affects more than those countries. So, just a quick little analysis as I'm just sitting back reflecting and thinking about, if you will, when it's a conflict, winners and losers. And as I sit back and I think about this one, Russia is winning across the board, right? And it's not just winning for the sake of, it looks pretty evident that any moment, they will be able to take over Ukraine and get to the capital city, Kiev, things of that nature. But beyond the small sanctions that have been put on Russia, those sanctions are like slap on the wrist, right? We're talking about a country over the past 14 years or so has amassed reserves 600 billion plus. So those sanctions, that NATO countries have levied on them, and to not mess with their oil imports or oil, that's nothing. That's nothing. It's like Russia planned for this, and Russia got themselves in a prime position to actually do this. Vladimir Putin, in this shrewdness, he executed this one beautifully, right? Because either way, as we put those sanctions on Russia to say that, okay, we won't actually buy your oil anymore. Look at what's going on across the world. Gas prices skyrocketing, right? So, in all actuality, Russia gets a sanction, but who pays for the sanction is the rest of the global citizens, right? Because we're paying for it just as equally, because Russia is one of the biggest producers of oil, right? U.S. just the same. We're one of the largest producers of oil, but we're just the same. We're the largest consumer. So we're not even in a position where we could actually take care of our own oil demand and supply, right? But it's just interesting when you think about it. Something more has to be done if we're going to stop Russia. Just from a standpoint of really stopping them, and beyond the slap on the wrist, right? It's just quite interesting, right? So we're paying for it, gas prices. We're paying for it through inflation. We already were in the crisis where it's hard to get things from, ports and things of that nature. Just, our logistics was already bagged up and all behind. Now we add this. Now, keep this in mind. All of this is going on at the same time. A lot of the U.S. companies are wanting to send the workers back with gas prices skyrocketing, send you back to the office to work, gas prices skyrocketing, right? So you're sitting in traffic again and just burning gas. It's just chaotic. It's just madness, man, when you think about it. But my heart, in all actuality, goes out to the Ukrainian citizens, because they're directly caught in this conflict. I'm seeing that a lot of refugees have been able to get out and get to other countries and bordering countries, as the NATO, coalitions have been able to give them passageway and things of that nature. So that's promising. But it's just equally as sad, that Ukraine wasn't more prepared or more fortified against this attack. Um, and just even from the standpoint of when the attack was being prepared, because if you think about it, going back in time, Russia and their troops, they were on the border of Ukraine and Russia for quite some time, staging for months at a time, staging. So I just wonder what was the Ukrainian government doing at that point in time to, just kind of get prepared. But it's all interesting as it spills over into gas prices, and which kind of leads to my next point of the conversation is just American reliability on gas powered cars. So now we see, and it's more evident now, if these kind of conflicts are going to keep erupting, why it's so important for us if we're not going to keep on bearing the burden of, you know, conflicts of this nature, or perhaps things that are happening of this nature as we're fighting over natural resources. That's why it's so important for us to, you know, get more reliant on clean energy. So, you know, like electric vehicles, solar powered energy, wind power energy, hydraulic energy, you know, things of that nature, just so our dependency on things of this nature, it could go away. And then we don't have to keep putting a country like Russia on a pedestal, because inevitably we're still in bed with them. It's, you know, strange bedfellows because we're dependent on the oil. So we still need the oil to make sure our economy is thriving and make sure our economy is moving forward. So anytime you have those strange bedfellows, and anytime you have that strange bed connection, either way, small sanctions and things like that, they won't help, because Russia is getting hit on the front end with a sanction, but on the back end, they're still able to pay for their economy to still go forward because they have reserves. They have 600 plus billion in reserves, and still they know they have a resource which the world is in need of. Right. So you may not need it right now, this moment, or you may say, hey, I'm going to show you, and I don't need your oil right now at this moment. But as these prices keep going up and the demand keeps going up, sooner or later, 2-3 months from now, or as soon as Russia stops their conflict with Ukraine, whatever that looks like, then we're back dependent on the oil and buying the oil. So it's just like a chess game. It's just maneuvering, and it's just the strategy of it all. But inevitably, the global citizens are the ones that are paying for the conflict. Russia is not paying for the conflict throughout the entirety of it. They're just minutely paying for it on the forefront right now with these sanctions. So it's just an interesting thing, and I wonder what should that response actually look like. I see the NATO countries fortifying the countries around the borders of Ukraine. That's perhaps a smart maneuver so that Russia can advance any further once perhaps they do take down Ukraine. But it's just like, is the response enough? And if we are to send, you know, troops, would that be justified to, you know, hike up our tax dollars and things of that nature? But what was interesting to me about a week or so ago, I did see legislation as far as Biden sending financial, um, you know, benefits, if you will, to the Ukrainian government. So either way, we still end up paying for it. So just one of those things. Is this something that we send troops to? And it just begs the question, as other conflicts have erupted, you know, in Israel, Palestinian, and, you know, Africa, you know, just other conflicts, how in depth should we dive into those conflicts, and should we turn a blind eye, and should every, you know, conflict that comes up across the globe and America has a direct interest, or perhaps not even an interest, should we be the ones that step in, right? So it just begs that question as well. But it's one of these things that I hope that this conflict calms down, because I'm not sure that we have the capacity to deal with much more. As I see those gas prices just constantly going up, and I hear, like last week, Biden said something along the lines of, "Yeah, gas is going up. Well, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Who's to blame? Russia." You know, it's just funny when we need something, but we don't have any kind of control of it, right? It's just bizarre. So it's just it's deep, guys. It's deep. And I'm hoping that, you know, things like this kind of speak to the importance of who we're putting in office. Just kind of like the legislation, the bills, what's the foresight of the future, right? Because now we're dealing with a conflict for the now, for the present, but it's speaking volume to what we can do to start preparing for the future. And like I said, that should be a strong, hard push toward clean, renewable energy, right? and just this kind of energy sources where it could be homegrown here in America, and it could be actually sourced here from America, and it could be shared here from America. It's so important. So if our politicians and our legislation is not pushing towards things like that, I feel we'll be right back in these cycles, because it's just, the way of the world right now. So it's just all bad. But I'm hoping to see some change here very soon. That's what's most important. And I hope to those citizens of Ukraine that you're able to get to safety, even as this conflict continues to go on. I hope you're able to get to safety and get to your loved ones, and be able to connect with your loved ones, and just get out of harm's way until things either calm down, or until there's better negotiations, or until other countries step in and kind of help negotiate, an end to that conflict. But just all in total, what's going on is affecting the world so much that it's just adding to the hurt. It's just adding to the hurt. But I hope this is a lesson learned for, what we could do better in the future. So that's all I got for now. More on the topic a little later, but I appreciate y'all tuning in with me. If you guys got any viewpoints or any kind of perspective, how I always do, I love to just kind of hear how you feel about the matter as well. So the next time my voice hits your ears, I just hope that you always remember, seek to harmonize this world, make it a better, and seek to just kind of find understanding and common ground between you and your next human, so that we can make this world a better place. Till next time, over and out. People have a great Sunday. Peace out.